Well, hello, Homeworthy. I am Christopher, also known as Plant Kween. Welcome to my home in Brooklyn.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Well, hello, Homeworthy. My name is Christopher Griffin, also known as Plant Kween on social media. I am a nature enthusiast with a little bit of a fashionable flair, all right? And we are currently in my little indoor jungle, or if you want to call it an oasis, in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. So I believe the apartment is about 800 square feet. And the structure is really interesting. I think in New York, we're used to a lot of railroad style apartment. And the beautiful thing about this space and why I was drawn to this space was because it has 5 south-facing windows. As a person with a lot of plants, or as I like to call them, green girls, I knew that having access to a lot of light was going to be really, really important. And so it was marketed as a 1.5 bedroom. And the 0.5 bedroom I've made into a nook. And the living room space, they kind of sectioned it off and divided it up in a very unique way. So it's a pretty large living room space, but because they, created this separate little room, which was the 0.5, it creates like this nice little den. Then it creates a nice little workspace for me. I have my living room situated over here. The bathroom has a window in it, and so I get to bathe in my shower and bathe in the sunlight, which is absolutely amazing. We're basically houseplants with complex emotions, so honey, I need my sunshine. And then my bedroom has 2 windows in it, and so I don't know, it's hard to describe the layout of the space. I would call it unique, different, quirky, and I would also use those adjectives to describe myself. So I think we're a perfect match. All right, let's start the tour, darling. So here we are in a subsection of my living room. And so this is where I get a lot of my work done. She is a business queen as well, darling, all right? And I wanted the space to look interesting for the folks that I'm on calls with, video chatting. And so my interior designer and I, Calvin Hrezik, we devised this playful ceiling wraparound situation with the wallpaper. The wallpaper is by Farrow and Ball. It was a collaboration with Christopher John Rogers, one of my favorite fashion designers, darling. Look him up, okay? Obviously, there's a lot of green in my apartment. And so we really wanted to play with this particular print pattern and color to just bring some new life into my workspace. I also have a bunch of my plants here, a few of my green girls, from the pothos to the money tree to the heartleaf philodendron. We have the Epiprenum pinnatum, which is related to the pothos plant that we all know. Also have the rubber plant or rubber tree right here. The scientific name is Ficus elastica, and that is because the sap from these particular plants way back in the day were used to make rubber. Fun little fact, I know, right? I also have some wall art over here. I picked up these 2 paintings when I was in Paris for a little birthday trip that I took myself on. I do a lot of solo traveling because why not, all right? And so these are some chrysanthemums, which were my mother and my grandmother really enjoyed those. We have the rose, which was my mother's favorite flower. And then this was thrifted from a shop in Brooklyn. And it just reminds me of my grandmother's house. There was always food. She interestingly had parakeets in her home. There's tea, there's plant, and it really just brought me back to a memory with my, being in my grandmother's house and it being so full of life and colorful that I simply had to have this painting. So this was thrifted as well from a little thrift shop in Brooklyn. This chair, found this with my interior designer, Calvin, on a website for a shop called Furnish Green. And so it's a secondhand store. And I think that bringing secondhand pieces or vintage pieces into your home is a wonderful way to decorate your home in a more sustainable way. It's another way to give life to an item. And I don't know, I think there's also just like energies that comes with, the furniture that we bring into our homes. Always do like a little a cleansing, cleaning, but also cleansing in terms of energy. So like a little Palo Santo, a little sage, just to make sure that there's no bad energies coming into the home, darling. We can't have that. But yeah, I really love this because one of my favorite colors is yellow. And it had this fun like little cushion. But yeah, I think it's a very interesting chair, surprisingly very light. And I told Calvin when we were looking for chairs that I wanted something sturdy. And yeah, this chair is like really sturdy, it's really comfortable, it's wide, so I can like fold my feet. I'm pretty small, so being able to fold my feet and my legs as I'm on calls is like amazing. But yeah, it gets like a little bamboo situation. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite pieces in my apartment and I use it a lot. This is where I spend a lot of time with my creative thoughts. And this is also the space that I take most of my meetings. So there you go. So, obviously I love florals, I obviously love the greenery, but she also loves a little flower power, darling. And so I did a fun partnership with Spoonflower and I took a three-piece wall divider and I put wallpaper on the wall divider. And so now it serves as like this lovely little background. The wallpaper was called Botanical Garden. I mean, obviously it was a match made in heaven. And so, yeah, I did this little DIY moment and I think it showcases like the various different ways we can play with wallpaper. And this was just like a little fun creative project that I embarked upon. So there you go, darling. Then we go over to my little relaxation nook. All right, we have my little lounge couch. We have one of my favorite paintings that I also thrifted. And surprisingly, it's very light. So I was able to just kind of carry it home. I got a van and brought it home. But I really, really love, love, love abstract art because it allows you to, I don't know, kind of every time I look at it, I notice something different, or maybe I'm in a particular emotional state and my mind will kind of just create imagery for me. So, and I really love the colors. Is it a sky? Is it the ocean? What is it? And so yeah, I really, really love this. I'm also a big fan of gold trimmings. And so I was obsessed with the frame. I mean, you can look, we love gold, darling. We love gold. Yes, take a look. Fabulous. So yeah, we have that. And then we have a little shrine for my late mother. And she was the original flower queen. Like my mother loved, loved, loved flowers. And so I've started getting into the habit of whenever I receive like a really beautiful bouquet of flowers, I will dry them immediately as a way to kind of just like preserve the beauty. But I also have some flowers right here, some rainbow flowers that I dried. And these flowers were actually cut by my mother during World Pride in New York. And so she came to this was when I was in my other apartment. She came and she cut these flowers for me. And so now I will have them forever. And it's just like a wonderful opportunity for me to just dive into the memory of my mother. So yeah, this is my little relaxation nook, darling, lounging in style, you know? So my content revolves around a lot of things. It revolves around nature, fashion, lifestyle, and travel. So those are a big bulk of the content that I produce. My hope is that when folks see my content, they're either inspired or they're learning something new, or they see a possibility for themselves in how I exist unapologetically in my identity. And so some things that I do like a word of the day because I'm just a nerd and I really enjoy learning new words. I have a few fun little social media series. One is called Chrissy and the City. And that is a spinoff of, Sex and the City. And it's centered around fashion. And I believe that gender expression is a playground, and I really play with my fashion sense and very unapologetic and strutting the streets, darling, looking oh so fabulous. I also have a series that I go on field trips, educating folks around the amazing work that various nonprofits are doing. I've done one with the Billion Oyster Project. I've done one with City Harvest, which is a food rescue organization here in New York City. And I have the third season is focused on the International Fund for Animal Welfare, also known as IFAW. And so, yeah, a lot of learning, a lot of education, a lot of plants, and I also do work with the Brooklyn Botanic Garden and the New York Botanic Garden. So that's a little snapshot of my content, but it's full of surprises. So be sure to give me a little follow. Now, I'm going to take you on a fun little lush, it's not a hidden secret, but my plant nook, darling, where a lot of my plants live, all right? I think this room has the second most amount of plants in my space. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Well, hello, darling. I see you beat me to my room. Okay. So this is my plant nook. And I believe there are about maybe like 70-ish plants here in this space. And so I really enjoy, this particular room because it allows me to kind of create like a little microclimate, which is really, really fun. I can close the door, put the humidifier on, and it becomes a little bit of a greenhouse, which is really, really fun. And this was the first space that I put plants in. So all the shelving on the walls, I did that. She can be a handy queen when she needs to be. I also have some wall art over here. This is a variety of few things from some independent artists from Society 6. I painted this myself and then also have some thrifted pieces as well. So I like to collect things from sets. Let's see. I haven't played with this in a while, but yeah, this was a little plant Muppet that I had like my very first like commercial shoot as Plant Kween, and so it was very much like Sesame Street, and there was like this plant Muppet character. And so I was like, can I have it? And so it's like, it's cute because it's like, it goes in, whoop, it goes in, and then, bam, looks like a flower. But yeah, so we have that. Right here, we have a collection of some of my favorite plants. It's nicknamed the White Ghost Cactus. As you can see, they have like a pale white color. These are actually not cacti, these are euphorbias, and euphorbias grow in shrubs. But when we propagate them and we grow them in our own way, they look like singular cacti, but they're not cacti, they're euphorbia. And so I don't know why I'm obsessed with them, but like they just do really, really well with me. And so, yeah, you have a little white ghost cactus situation happening there. Now, for all of my musical queens, you know who you are. I think you will appreciate this. So we have Audrey 2. From what? Little Shop of Horrors, Little Shop of Horrors, shop you pop. So one of my favorite musicals, obviously, and so I bought this for myself for Halloween one year. It's like a part of my costume. I was Seymour, and yeah, we had Audrey too. But yeah, cute. It's already in the little Maxwell house. Very accurate. Very accurate. I got this from Etsy, y'all. Etsy. I know Etsy be doing some good things, but yeah, child, isn't it gorgeous? Ah! Feed Missy Mo. All right, there we go. I'll use this space to kind of ground and center myself. So I'll close the door, I'll put the humidifier on, I'll just meditate, just sit on the floor. I used to do yoga in here when it wasn't so many plants, but now it's a little too crowded in here for that. But this is my, fun little space for a little escape, and it's really lovely. I really like it. So hopefully you enjoyed my little plant nook, and hopefully this inspires you to create your own little plant nook. I know you have space. You can bring plants into your home, okay? Trust me. I'm the Plant Queen. I don't believe in the green thumb. I don't think there's any innate skills that folks need to have in order to care for the nature that is in front of them. I think that's something that you work on over time. It's a skill you work on over time, like any other thing that you do in life. There was a king who really enjoyed these green peas, and so his subjects would pick these peas for him, and whoever had the most peas would be rewarded by the king. And so when they were, I guess harvesting, these peas for the king, it left a green residue on their fingers. And so to have green fingers later to be, whittled down to green thumbs meant of good fortune. So it had nothing to do with taking care of plants. Another story that is told is that horticulturalists or botanists will, when they're dealing with planters, they may get green algae on their fingers. And so that just became associated with, having green hands, green fingers, green thumb, physically, right? With a sign of like, oh, you probably work in a garden. Again, it has nothing to do with actually taking care of a plant or your skills. And so I think it's a muscle. I don't really believe in the term of the green thumb. I think needs to be demystified. And I do not think that anyone should shy away from the adventure of bringing nature into your home or engaging in gardening. Give it a try, have fun with it, lean into curiosity, learn from your mistakes, and really just embrace the adventure, the process. All right, so I would describe my apartment as quirky, vibrant, colorful, and full of surprises. And so when I was working with Calvin on the wallpaper, I am a big fan of Wicked. I am a fan of The Wiz. If you don't know what The Wiz is, honey, look into The Wiz. All right, we got Michael Jackson, we got Diana Ross. Look it up. I'm not going to give too much away. And then obviously The Wizard of Oz. All right, and so we wanted to play with the color, right? Not only green, but from going to green to going to color, right? Going from black and white, going to color, just to play with that moment of bringing life when, the film switches from black and white to colorful. So that's what the whole situation was here. And so very playful, very fun, very unexpected. And that's what we're here for, Gotta have little surprises here and there, This artwork inspires some of the work by Christopher John Rogers, and so that was why we chose this particular theme of artwork. It's also black and white, some nice touches of silver, and plays well with the wall here. So yeah, just like a little moment. I'll put my shoes on here sometimes, or if I'm like, oh, I just want to look at my space and admire, I'm just like looking around, being like, yes, my home is beautiful. and it's mine. You know, sometimes you got to be grateful for the things you have in this life, baby. And it's called gratitude practice. You got to practice gratitude, all right? Be thankful for the things in your life, appreciate them, look at them so that you can envision the new things, okay? All right. So then we go to, I love all my rooms, so this is just another favorite room of mine, my bathroom, okay? So I think it's funny that, you know, there's so much color throughout my entire apartment, and then this is just like a very like white marble-esque tile situation happening. And the two beautiful things that I really, really love about this particular space is my 30-year-old Monstera Deliciosa. Yes, darling. She is semi-epiphytic, which means that she can grow on the surfaces of walls and trees. And she's actually just a very, very large vine. And y'all are lucky, she just grew a new leaf, darling. So yes, she bloomed just for y'all. All right. Then I have another fun plant right here, which is the staghorn fern. And I have a very complicated relationship with ferns because it's hard for me to keep them alive because they enjoy a lot of humidity. And with 5 south facing windows, honey, it is hard to keep the humidity up in here, okay? And so this is staghorn fern. She is epiphytic, which means that she does not need soil to grow. Traditionally out in the wild, these plants grow on tree trunks. They grow on walls. They grow on other plants. And so she's actually embedded in a coconut shell. And I've had this queen for about maybe 8 years now. She started as a very like little small little fern in the coconut shell. And now she's kind of wrapped herself around the coconut shell. 30-year-old Monstera. I'm not going to tell you my age. Go to my social media and you can find it there, all right? But yes, this plant is almost as old as I am. And honey, we look damn good. Thank you, I know. Yes, how did I become Plant Queen? I really owe it to my grandmother, Andro Griffin. She really served as the inspiration for who Plant Queen is today. And so my grandmother grew up in Clayton, Georgia in the mountains, and my great grandmother had a farm. And so from a very early age, my grandmother and her family had a deep appreciation for the land that they were on. And so they raised their own animals, they grew their own food, had a lot of house plants inside, and just knew that there was a deep connection between them and the land that they were on and the nature that surrounded them. My grandmother eventually moved up to Philadelphia, where she brought that love for plants and gardening with her. She raised my mother and my uncle. She was very intentional about the spaces she created for herself to experience joy. So she was the author of her own joy, and she did that through gardening. And I think when I was brought into the world, she understood that folks wouldn't necessarily, or not everyone, unfortunately, in this world would appreciate the things that made me different, unique, quirky, and I was all those things. And so I think she took me under her wing to show that I didn't have to rely on anyone else for my own happiness. She obviously, you know, family and community was important, but I think she wanted to show me that I had agency over my own happiness and my own joy. So we would go plant shopping together. She would let me pick out the plants. We would take home whenever I was over her house. She would remind me to water them. And so at a very early age, I knew that plants, nature, the land that we're on is very sacred and very important. And so I bought my first plant. It was a Marble Queen pothos. I still have that plant. And I made a promise to myself that if this plant grew, that I would allow this to be like a nice little adventure for myself. And so the plant grew, honey. And that started an adventure of me traveling to all the different plant shops in Brooklyn and getting to know the owners and learning about the plants in a new way. I had graduated grad school, I had missed the classroom. So I was like, you know what, these plants can be my classroom. These are opportunities to really learn about the history and the meanings and the importance of the plant that we're bringing into our homes. And so, yeah, that kind of sparked the journey. And it's been a beautiful adventure. It's been a wonderful adventure. And so it feels wonderful to have curated a home for myself that really reflects the journey that I'm on. And yeah, there's no other place I'd rather be right now. And now, darling, we go to the room where I rest my head. And fun fact, this space has the most plants in my apartment. Let's go. Yes, darling, we are in the bedroom. Welcome. So this was the space where a lot of the reimagining for my apartment began. Did a collaboration with Farrow and Ball and Christopher John Rogers, and I was obsessed with this wallpaper. Yes, this is wallpaper, y'all. Wallpaper, okay? And I really, really enjoy water, bodies of water. Whenever I travel, I swim. I love the ocean. And so I was like, oh my God, let's make this room remind me of like an ocean sunset. So that's where a lot of the color inspiration comes from. We have, yellows, we have blues, we have some greens. And fun fact, this was the second room that I really started focusing on when it came to adding plants to the space, because I knew that I wanted to wake up next to lushness. I mean, who doesn't want to be waking up next to lushness? All right, get some plants for your bedroom, darling. Get some plants for your bedroom. I'm not going to say it again. Okay, so love the wallpaper. Obviously, love the color yellow. So we have like a little mustard yellow situation. Literally the sunset on a pillow. This is the inspiration. Literally green, bam. Blues, ow. Yellow, hello. So as we, continue to go on, I really wanted to play with, again, I love artwork. This is thrifted. Most of these art pieces are thrifted. And it's just something about abstract art that I just really love. I've seen so many different things in this painting, based on the day or the lighting or the mood that I'm in. But I just love that process when it comes to abstract art. It allows the mind to reimagine and be playful and creative with what we're seeing. Then we have one of my favorite family photos, and this is of my mother and my father holding me during a parent-teachers conference when I was in elementary school. And it's just like one of my favorite photos. I've always felt very held by my family, and so I feel like this photo just like really represents that for me. So this is Andrell Griffin, my grandmother, the OG Plant Queen, all right? And yeah, this was taken, some time ago, but she looks absolutely gorgeous and fierce, darling. Come on now. And so, fun little story. So again, there were no shelves in this apartment. I did it all myself, honey, all right? I had all the tools. It was wonderful. It was comedic, but I got the job done, all right? Recast me in Home Improvement. Come on now. All right, so whenever you're greening up your space, all right, it's a process, right? You should never just go into a store and just bring a plant into your home. You should put some thought into it. And so one of the most beautiful moments that I had in this apartment was the day after I got the keys. I came in, I ordered some pizza, and I cleaned the space. I cleansed the space, I cleaned the space, and I watched the sun move through the space. And I spent the entire day there just like really taking in this new space that I was about to make home. And I took note of all the places that the sun was hitting. And I was like, oh, well, this wall is getting a lot of light. And so I want to make sure that I green this wall up. So again, I love gold trimmings, all right? And I started putting the shelves in. So I put the top one up first. And then I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna put the second one in. And if you ever, try to put shelves in by yourself, it's not an easy task, all right? And so as I'm like trying to balance, it slides down and stays like this. And I'm like, oh, that is actually really cute. There is beauty in mistake. There is beauty in the unexpected, darling. And so, yeah, I anchored it in that way. And so it's funny, whenever I make content on this particular wall, I'll get a random comment. I'm like, honey, your shelf is sliding down or it's about to fall. And I'm like, oh no, honey, it's engineered that way. Okay. And so, yeah, I have a beautiful collection of a few different plants. So this is actually my very first plant right here, the Marble Queen Pothos. She's in a state of rehabilitation, all right? I kind of trimmed her down because she was just growing a little too wildly, and I really just wanted to preserve her. So I propagated her. She's placed throughout the entire apartment. But yeah, my very first plant, Marble Queen Pothos, and she's doing really lovely right now. She's doing really lovely. Again, we have more of the white ghost cactus. This is just another variety of the euphorbia. And I have a lot of succulents and cacti in the window. And also some Hoyas as well. We have the Ficus umbellata, all right, which is a cousin of the infamous diva that is the fiddle leaf fig, all right. But yeah, I have, the plants are situated in a way where they are getting the light that they need. I know that succulents and cacti really enjoy a lot of light consistently throughout the day, so they are first. Then I have some other tropical plants that come second, and then the plants that are, I would say, low light tolerant or low light flexible, I have further back in the apartment. And so I really think about, okay, what is the natural habitat of this plant? What kind of light do they really enjoy? And I kind of situate them according to that. But it's a lot of trial and error. There are a lot of plants that I've sent to that little botanical garden in the sky, all right? I'm not going to tell you how many because it's not that kind of show, okay? But trial and error. I learn from my mistakes and I do better next time. So yes, my bedroom, darling, my bedroom. Then we have another little section of my bedroom, darling. This plant right here, Differembachia, she is one of the newer additions to the plant fam. And I got this from Little Shop of Soil in Bushwick. And I have a few amazing plants here. I have the Wellfin snake plant. And you can kind of guess why it's nicknamed the Wellfin, because it looks like a wellfin. I got this from Tula House, which is in Williamsburg. We have a Thai constellation, Monstera deliciosa. Honey, back in the day when folks were just buying up plants left and right, this plant probably could have went for a lot of money, okay? And the reason that variegated plants are often a little more expensive as compared to their non-variegated sisters is because the variegation is a mutation. These pale parts of their leaves actually lack chlorophyll, which means that that part of the plant is not going to process the sun. And so this sometimes makes the growing process for variegated plants a little slower. So they're a little harder to care for. You have to be mindful of the sunlight that you give them because their leaves will burn. Plants do experience sunburn, darling. Plants do experience sunburn. And so that's why she's a little further away from the window, because if I were to put her right in direct sun, she probably would burn to a crisp. But yeah, I bought this at the Union Square Market in the city, and she is doing absolutely fabulous. She's fairly new as well, just a few months in my house, and she's doing absolutely fabulous, darling. So yes, I have some pearls there because clutch pearls, clutch the pearls, oh my God. We have another one of my Viney Green girls here, and she's just growing. I'm just letting her grow. Something that I do that I probably should stop is that I kind of just let the plants grow, like, and not try to like alter how they're growing, because we grow in various ways depending on the space that we're in. Honey, there's a lot of, symbolism here that we can go back and forth. That can be for humans as well. We grow in accordance to our environments. Or we grow in particular, our pathways grow in different ways based on where we are in our lives. And so I'm very curious about how the plants will kind of just mold and grow in accordance to, the light that they're getting. And so, yeah, we have this little green girl here and she's doing absolutely lovely. But yeah, this is my bedroom, honey. Most of my plants are situated here. And darling, she sleeps soundly at night. It's wonderful. It's quite great. And now again, I like to decorate my home with memory. And so these are some amazing memories. I had the opportunity to go to Tanzania with National Geographic December of 2023. And me being a nature nerd, it was simply heaven. And so these were some pieces that I got from some local shops when we visited Arusha, the Serengeti, and the Ngorongoro crater. And so wanted to make sure that I brought that memory back with me. That was my first time in the motherland, which was also very special. And then I took myself to the Maldives, and that was a really important trip for me as a queer person. We have to be mindful about the spaces and places that we travel. And so I actually worked with an LGBTQ plus travel agency that was able to kind of just provide me with some guidelines and put me in connection to resorts that were inclusive for me, so I didn't have to hide parts of my identity while I was traveling. And so yeah, bought a little fan and a little bracelet from the Maldives. Fun little fact, I am officially scuba diving certified. Yes, that's how much I love water. I go snorkeling, I go scuba diving, I love the ocean, yeah, a little fact about me. There you go. I think home is an energy. I think it's an energy that we carry with us, within ourselves, within the communities that, we exist within. My physical home has been like writing a love letter to my past, present, and future self. I am taking my time with it. When I step out into the world, existing as I exist, there are constantly waves crashing into my existence, trying to drown me, erase me, wash me away. And so for me, I've built this home so intentionally so that it is calm waters when I need rest, when I need to heal, when I need to engage in rejuvenation so that I can go back out into the world stronger the next day. Home is a very complex thing. Home is an energy that we can carry with us, but home can also be a place that we can really allow ourselves to rest and heal.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.